If young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. Beautiful morning.
What's good, everybody? As you can see from the start of this, Minnesota has won Game 7. They did that. They stood on business. They went down. Denver won 3 games in a row. Minnesota took a pivotal Game 6. And on Game 7 on the road, they showed up. They did it. And what I love the most about this game for Minnesota is this was not some shot outlier. No, this was a team win in all aspects of the game, man. And we're going to get to it. But first off, shout out to the Denver Nuggets. Okay, they are a legitimate team. They went 7 games. They lost in 7 games, but they're still a legitimate team. They're still the powerhouse of the Western Conference to me. But they were officially dethroned last night by the better team, in my opinion, by the more complete team in the Minnesota Timberwolves, where in 3 games of the series, Denver was held under 100 points. I don't believe there's any other team in the Western Conference that could do that. And even on top of that, could beat Denver on the road 3 times in an NBA playoff series in 2024. The Wolves did it, man. A lot of stuff happened in this game. First off, I got to say this, man. Y'all know me. I've said on business about this team for 2 years. Karl Anthony Towns. Last night, Karl Anthony Towns had a legacy game. It was a legacy game for Cat. Cat had to prove that he could perform at a high level when his team needed it the most. And a lot of people just had Anthony Edwards doing that. They weren't sure if other people were going to join the ride. And for Anthony Edwards to struggle the way he did, going 1 for 8 in the first half, and Cat to perform, hitting big shots, making big plays, playing great defense on Nikola Jokic, that really coasted them through that first half. But again, when I say this was a team effort battle, it was team effort. Mike Conley was not good in the first half either. Denver went up by as much as 20 points by the time the third quarter hit. And instead of folding, what that team did is they got right back into it. Everyone that didn't play good in the first half turned it up in the second half. Anthony Edwards had his best quarter in the third quarter. Again, 6 for 24, I get it. But the defense on Jamal Murray in that third quarter, Anthony Edwards showed you exactly why people put him in the Tatum conversations, in the elite of the elite conversation, despite his age, because he's a gamer, man. Even when his shots are not falling, he can impact the game in so many ways. And you saw it when he let the game come to him down the stretch. And again, game ball continues to go to Jaden McDaniels. What Jaden McDaniels has done in this series is he cemented himself as one of the best defensive players in the NBA. And he keeps showing you game by game that his offense could also take a step. It's very, very plausible. And what he did in this game defensively was tremendous for Denver all throughout this game. Also, the rebounding in this game was critical. Karl Anthony Towns and Jaden coming in, getting the stops that they needed to on that end. And Jaden offensively, which again, we're talking about defense. I love that. But offensively, for Jaden McDaniels to get you 23 points in a game where Anthony Edwards could have easily shot them out the game, you got to give him credit for stepping up in that regard, especially in a game where Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's been great for them all series long, didn't score. He was like 0 for 6. So for Jaden to come in and step up in that matter in the biggest game of the series was very, very important. But let's talk about it, man. Y'all know me as well. Rudy Gobert, the same center that they told me for years did not deserve his DPOIs. The same center that they told me for years was not a good playoff player. The same player that they told me for years could not win on a title team because of his deficiencies defensively. Rudy Gobert, I'm going to be so honest with you. In the first half, he wasn't looking good. He wasn't performing at the level that I thought he could perform to. But in the second half, he picked it up tremendously, man. The stops he was getting, the rebounds, the blocks, and more importantly, that fadeaway. I had to start the video with the Rudy Gobert fadeaway because that came at a time where the Wolves were trying to make a run and they needed every basket. So for them to get a bailout buzzer beater from Rudy Gobert, and also for him to have an and one in this game, making his free throws down the stretch, Rudy Gobert showed up significantly in this game. And in my opinion, while he's still an awful offensive player, That is what they needed from him. Be something offensively for us down the stretch. Do something. And Rudy Gobert was able to do that. And again, I want to be clear. This is a team that is a Rudy Gobert-led defense. A Rudy Gobert-led defense against a Nikola Jokic-led offense were able to hold the Nuggets to under 100 points. Now, is it all Rudy Gobert? No, of course, because he has help from Anthony Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns, right? Where Cat is picking up Jokic so Aaron Gordon can be exited out of the series by Gobert. That's what we saw in Game 7. All the positive things that we love about this Wolves team, their defense, how young they are, how they get after the ball, and how they really, really want to tear you apart. You saw this from this Wolves team for all 7 games. And I'll be honest. I'll be so honest with you. After Game 5, I said it was going 7, and I thought the Denver Nuggets should have been favored. But the way that they took back Game 6, the way that they fought back made me stick with my initial Wolves prediction. It did. And to see them do this, man, for Minnesota, a team that hasn't seen success in multiple years, really since Kevin Garnett had the Andrew Wiggins stuff, the things that Karl-Anthony Towns has gone through personally with his family and a lack of success and proving that he could be a all-NBA caliber player when it matters in the postseason. Cat did a great job last night to answer all those questions. And then another player for the Wolves that we got to point out, Naz Reid. When Karl-Anthony Towns picked up his 5th foul, which, by the way, in this game, the calls were all over the place. They were very, very, very ticky-tack on Cat. I actually don't think that Cat committed as many fouls as it would suggest. A lot of it were just, calls that you just don't let happen. It's playoff basketball. But regardless, Cat did his thing to get them in the game and keep them in the game. But when Naz Reid came in, his impact defensively, man, he showed up tremendously, making a very, very big impact. Guarding Nikola Jokic well, getting steals on Jokic critically, hitting big shots, attacking closeouts, tip back dunks. Naz Reid showed exactly why he is the 6th man of the year. Now, I'm not a fan. I am not a fan of using playoff moments to solidify why a player should or should not have won a regular season award. I think that's pretty dumb, but I'll just say it. The value from Naz Reid in terms of having a guy that can have size, have length, come off the bench, attack closeouts, where Nikola Jokic is playing awful defense, just trying to get a charge on Naz Reid. So Naz Reid Euro steps because he's a very skilled basketball player and scores. Those types of players are players that you just can't measure. That's the heart and the effort that this Minnesota Timberwolves team plays with. So to see them come out there and play with a sense of urgency and focus, it was so fun for me to watch as a basketball fan. And I think now in the situation that we're in, where there's 4 teams left with the Pacers, the Celtics, the Wolves, and the Mavericks, regardless if the Wolves go to the finals or not, which I do have them beating the Mavericks. I'll have an individual breakdown on that series later. The fact that one of Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown could win a title is just outstanding. I'm very, very happy. And we're not even talking about Luka and Kyrie, who have just, performed and their team has carried them to this point. It's just so fun to see that one of these guys is going to be able to win. Like, all of the narratives about Cat not being a winning player, about Luka's style might not being able to translate to winning, about Jason Tatum not getting over that final hump. One of these narratives is going to die. And me personally, I really want to see the Wolves do it, because for Cat to prove that he can be a winning player when it matters most, for Rudy Gobert to finally shed this narrative that he gets played off the court. They're going to play Rudy Gobert off the court. If he's able to win a title, he shuts up all of those haters. He shuts up Draymond Green, which is very annoying. Again, there will be a video about Draymond as well coming soon. But if they're able to shut all of these claims down, Minnesota is in a great place. And again, for Anthony Edwards, a 22-year-old in a spot where he has the chance to win and maybe be a finals MVP that young, it just puts him in different air as a player. And he has so much room to grow. But again, in a game where he struggled offensively, defensively, he showed his ass. He played very good defense. So seeing everything come together for this Wolves team gives me a ton of joy. I'm actually about to go talk about it right now on Player's Choice. So I want to end this video. But again, appreciate all the support. We've been growing. We're going to keep the uploads up. The podcast is coming back soon, where we talk about all NBA. That stuff is still coming. But Great game 7. Great moment. Cannot wait for Wolves and Mavericks might go to a game. We will be breaking down that at another time. But appreciate y'all, boys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, appreciate basketball. The aura talks, all the troll talks, that's fine. But appreciate the moment we're having in the NBA playoffs, y'all. Peace out. Have a good one.